Hello everyone, welcome back to another FS2020 tutorial. Today we're going to do the RNAV approach. I'm going to start up in the air here, make it real simple, 4-minute flight. We're going to show you how it's done, and you don't need to do everything here in terms of navigation. You can set it up here pretty simply, but you also need to make sure you go over it in the cockpit as well. I'll show you how all that's done. So I'm going to hop in the plane here mid-air and set up the approach and fly the approach all within a few minutes. It's going to be quick, short, simple, and teach you how to get on that RNAV. So I'll catch you guys in the air. Alright, so here we go. I'm about to start up in the air. It might be a little complicated to get everything set up jumping right into the airplane mid-air, but we'll see how it goes here. Should be very simple to get on this approach. Only a few button clicks away, and I'll see how it goes, so bear with me here. Okay, we're flying at a good speed here. A little bit too much throttle. We're on altitude mode. Okay, so we'll go yaw damper on. We want to go to 3,000 feet, and I will show you the approach plate, but I'm not going to go over how it all works. So we're going to go hold altitude. We'll go down to 3,000 feet. Okay, vertical speed. We'll get down to 3,000 real quick. We'll go pretty fast. Okay, now on the FMS here, we want to go to procedures mode. Approach. Flight plan looks like we're going to Orlando. Approach. You can see here it says RNAV 36 right, which is what we want. You click on that though, and the approach is loaded in wrong. So you want to make sure you go in here and you go RNAV 36, very bottom here, 36 right, and we'll do this transition because I already know it's a simple one, and I'll show you that here. So it wants us to get on the GPS, so we'll click on nav mode, get on the FMS. It's gonna swing us around here, and we'll get on that glide path, or on that nav profile here. Alright, so now that we're all set up, we'll just go ahead and throw the separator on, just so I don't cause any issues. Do a quick 360 and we'll get back on the path. And we're going to get down to 3,000 feet. I will pull up the approach plate now on screen. And this is the RNAV GPS for runway 36 right. I don't need to go over too much, but towards the bottom left you can see the glide path and how you're supposed to approach it. And you can see our different fixes. You can see Silky and Jackor. And you can also see that on the plate. At Silky we're supposed to be at 3,000, and at Jackal we're supposed to be at 1,600. If you don't want to pull up the approach plate, you can also go to your flight plan and scroll down. Let me zoom in and make it easy on us. You can see here, Silky at 3,000, Jackal at 1,600. This is your glide path profile, and the airplane's going to follow these altitudes all the way down to the runway elevation at 147. Okay, so we're getting on this nav profile. We're going to follow this all the way in. We're holding here nicely at 3,000. I'm going to press the B button, make sure the barometer is correctly set, which it is. And you can see if I move it up and press B, it'll put it back down to standard or whatever the pressure is. It's important that you do have your barometer set correctly so that your altitude is reading correctly. So keep that in mind. So we're holding here at a good speed, and we're going to follow this in. Now, unlike the ILS, where you needed to change your active nav, you need to plug in the frequency and turn on approach mode, and there's so many button clicks to make it happen. This one is really, really simple. What's important here is I can already see my glide path is here. It's already showing up. What's weird is that the diamond where the glide path is under us. We at least want it to be above us so that we capture it, or we want to be on it. So we'll see what happens here as we approach a little bit closer. But again, at Silky we want to be at 3,000. And it's fine if you go a little bit less. I can even demonstrate that now. We'll go, let's say, 2,700. And I'll show you why that's important. So we'll go down nice and easy here. We're getting on that nav profile. Now it's really important you stay on your FMS. That's your flight management system, or your GPS. Because this is going to help you stay on the center line and follow your path all the way in. So we'll zoom in here to get a better view. And we'll just keep the speed where it is. We can even speed up a little bit to make it a little faster on us. So it's okay if you're a little bit under your glide path. It's not a big deal, and I'll show you how to turn on the approach. So right now we're only on FMS mode, and we're going to hold our altitude here at 2700. So far everything's looking pretty good. We're holding on our GPS, and as soon we'll turn on to Silky, and we'll go from there. So now's a good time where we can turn on the approach. What you're going to see there is you're going to see this white line letting you know you're on approach mode. You're going to see the altitude and the glide path. The next thing we want to look for is that this turns green, and we're going to follow that glide path. For now, I do not see the glide path. It's way below us, which is inaccurate at the moment. Let's see what happens when we get a little bit closer. So we are 6 miles from our first fix, which is Silky. And sometimes this game can be a little finicky. Sometimes the autopilots can be a little screwy and won't always work. So it's really important you pay attention to what's going on and make sure it is working correctly for your environment and your airport you're using to do this approach. Just you really got to monitor your instruments and make sure the game is working correctly. You can see that that glide path is still sitting down here. We should see it above us up here, but maybe it's just not tuned in correctly, or maybe we're not close enough, so we'll have to keep an eye on that for now. And an important thing about doing these approaches is it's not going to be totally simple, and it's not going to be totally hands-off. You're going to want to make sure you monitor everything and everything's working correctly. That's just kind of part of the sim, and it's also a good thing to stay on your toes as a real pilot as well. So we're going to be on this turn here. Just to confirm, I'm going to click approach again and make sure we're on the FMS. Just see nothing changed there. It's not really an issue. But what we can see here is our next transition, or next fix, is at 1600 feet. So let me just go ahead and put that in here in case I need to do it manually. Okay, we're on that turn for final. We're still not seeing that glide path. Approach mode is on, as you can see there. Got that white line letting us know, and you can see the glide path here, and it doesn't seem to be working. So how are we going to fix this? Again, our next fix is at 1600 feet. Let's go ahead and go vertical speed. We'll go down 1,000 feet per minute, and we'll slow down a little bit here. Can even go a little bit faster. Now we should have been on the glide path by now. And now you can see it. It's still stuck down there, and I'm not sure why. This is part of fine-tuning this game and making sure everything's working correctly. Okay, so there we go. The glide path is now moving up. I'm not positive on why it was stuck down there, or why it was way below us. But again, that's all part of this sim right now. It's not all working perfectly, but and as you can see, we're now below the glide slope. Approach mode is on, and we can see here we're going to hold our altitude until we hit the glide path. So coming in nicely on the runway. We'll go ahead and go gear down first notch of flaps and slow it down a little bit here, and we should see as soon as this diamond reaches our altitude, there it goes, our glide path is on. Now, for the sake of the tutorial, it would have been nice if everything would have worked perfectly, but it might not work perfectly in your case. So it's important to be aware of what does this profile look like? What is this glide slope supposed to look like? And it's important to make sure you follow it. And if it's not working, figure it out yourself and figure out what should my altitude be? Am I too high? Am I too low? And what can I do to fix it? So in that case, I kind of had to do a little bit of manual work and force my plane to get down to a certain altitude until it caught it. Now, if I would have done a straight in approach and added another fix spec here, maybe it would have worked, but I did the transition it gave me. So it is a little odd. We'll go full flaps here and pick up our speed a little bit. But for now, I'm hands off. It's flying right on the heading for me. And it's on the glide path for me as well. And you can see it's now following that and descending me properly. Just got to watch our speed here. Get back up to 85. And I'm not using ATC today. If you watched my last video, that caused me some trouble. And it kind of blurred out my audio. So hopefully it sounds a lot better today. Now, I would recommend you do use ATC. Maybe not for your first one. Just focus on flying the plane, getting it all set up. But the ATC can be fun. It can also be a little screwy sometimes. So that is up to your own decision there. Looks like that plane's actually holding for me, which is kind of cool, even though I'm not talking to ATC. So we got flaps down, we got gear down. We're good for landing. So again, I'm not sure why that glide slope wasn't working correctly. I'm hoping it'll work for your application and your airport you're trying it on. But if it doesn't, stay on your toes, figure out where you need to be, and hopefully it'll correct itself and get back on it. All I had to do is make sure I was at the right altitude, at the right place, and I'm still on the autopilot. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off and hand fly it now. But that got me all the way down to around 50 feet above. Cut the throttle. We'll flare it out. And we'll let it drop itself down to the runway. We can go into reverse, slow it down. So a little funny how it didn't work the first time, but I was able to use my resources in the cockpit there to figure out where I need to be, and it did work the second time. So for the sake of the video, it's not necessarily great that it didn't work the first time, but that might happen for you, and hopefully you will be able to fix it yourself. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something, and go have fun and try it at your local airport or anywhere you want, and hopefully it works for you guys. And for anyone who watched my last video, I want to say thank you for the amount of support and likes I got. I was not expecting to get so much feedback on, in my opinion, a bad video. I think the quality was okay in terms of what I was saying, but the audio quality was all messed up. So hopefully this one sounds better and is working better. And again, just thank you for the feedback. I got more to come. If you guys have any questions or would like to see any other tutorials or the same tutorials in different aircrafts, I'm happy to do so. Just let me know in the comments, and if you guys have any other questions, I will get to you as soon as possible. Thanks again for watching, and y'all fly safe.